Have you ever wondered why some people seem to absorb new languages effortlessly while others struggle for years with little progress? What if I told you that the difference isn't intelligence or talent, but a simple mental shift that can accelerate your language learning by 7x? Today, I'm going to reveal Feynman's secret focus method that transforms ordinary language learners into exceptional polyglots. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever watched a young child pick up a language? They don't carry flashcards. They don't memorize grammar rules. They certainly don't translate everything back to some base language. Yet somehow they achieve what most adult learners only dream of: natural, effortless fluency. Has this ever happened to you? You spend hours studying vocabulary lists, only to freeze in a real conversation because your brain is too busy translating rather than communicating. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. The problem isn't you, it's your approach. When you hear the Spanish word casa, what happens in your mind? If you're like most language learners, you immediately think house, the English equivalent. And that simple mental habit is sabotaging your progress. You're creating an unnecessary middleman in your brain, forcing every new word to pass through the filter of your native language before it reaches understanding. Children don't do this. When a child hears perro, they don't think dog. They see the actual animal, hear its bark, feel its fur. They connect the word directly to reality, not to another word. This direct neural pathway is why children learn languages at such an astonishing pace. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might surprise you. This method works regardless of your age or previous language learning experience. The secret lies in rewiring how your brain processes new information, breaking the translation dependency that's keeping you stuck. Imagine hearing the Italian word macchina and instantly visualizing a car, seeing its color, hearing its engine, feeling the steering wheel in your hands, without the English word car ever entering your consciousness. That direct connection is where language acquisition explodes, where words stop being foreign symbols to memorize and start becoming natural extensions of your thinking. This mental shift isn't just slightly better, it's transformative. What if I told you that this one simple change could help you absorb vocabulary 7 times faster? What if the difference between struggling for years and achieving conversational fluency in months came down to this fundamental approach? The question is, are you willing to abandon what you've been taught about language learning to embrace how we naturally learn as humans? Because the traditional methods we've all been taught in school might be exactly what's holding you back from the fluency you desire. The barrier isn't the language itself. It's the invisible mental habits you've developed around learning. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how the Feynman method works and show you how to fundamentally transform the way you approach language learning. And here's the hidden truth that most language courses will never tell you: passively consuming content isn't enough. Your brain needs to actively engage with the material to create lasting neural connections. If you're ready to transform your language learning journey, hit that subscribe button now. I share powerful techniques and strategies that most language courses never teach you. This is where Feynman's brilliant insight comes into play. When you attempt to explain what you've learned, even if it's just to yourself in an empty room, something remarkable happens in your brain. The scattered pieces of knowledge you've collected begin to organize themselves into coherent patterns. It's as if explaining forces your mind to create order out of chaos. Think about it. Have you ever felt like you understood something perfectly until you tried to explain it to someone else? Suddenly, the gaps in your knowledge become glaringly obvious. That moment of realization isn't a failure, it's a breakthrough. Those gaps reveal exactly what you need to focus on next. This revelatory process is the catalyst that accelerates language acquisition beyond what most people believe possible. The journey from beginner to fluent speaker isn't about accumulating more information, it's about processing that information differently. When you explain concepts aloud, you're no longer a passive recipient of knowledge. You become an active participant in your learning journey. This mind shift makes all the difference. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror, explaining a new grammar concept or retelling a story in your target language. You might stumble, pause, or search for words. That's not embarrassment. That's growth happening in real time. Each moment of struggle is strengthening neural pathways that wouldn't develop through silent reading or listening alone. Most language learners unknowingly trap themselves in passive consumption. They watch videos, listen to podcasts, and read texts without ever pushing themselves to produce the language. The impact of this decision is profound. They remain perpetual beginners, forever comfortable with understanding, but never confident with speaking. Active learning changes everything. When you force yourself to articulate thoughts in your new language, even imperfectly, you create a positive feedback loop. Each successful explanation builds confidence, which motivates more practice, which builds more confidence. This virtuous cycle propels you forward at an accelerating pace. What's fascinating about this approach is how it mimics the natural way we developed our first language as children. We didn't just listen to our parents speak, we attempted to communicate back. We made mistakes, received feedback, and tried again. This active engagement is what made learning our native language so effortless. Your brain doesn't distinguish between languages when it comes to this fundamental learning principle. The same mechanism that helped you master your first language is waiting to be activated for your second, third, or fourth. The difference is simply your awareness of how to trigger it. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how the environment you create for learning can either amplify or diminish these effects. The way you structure your practice sessions plays a crucial role in whether you plateau or break through to new levels of fluency. If any of this is resonating with you so far, write in the comments, "I'm activating my language brain," so I know you're tracking with these principles. The environment you create for learning isn't just about physical space, it's about mental space. One of the most revolutionary discoveries in cognitive science is just how powerful deep concentration can be when applied correctly. Many language learners fall into a dangerous trap. They mistake time spent with progress made. The hidden truth is that 30 minutes of absolute, undivided attention is worth more than 3 hours of distracted study. Think about your typical language practice session. How many times does your phone buzz? How often do you check social media just for a second? Every time your focus breaks, you're not just losing a moment. You're forcing your brain to restart the deep processing that real learning requires. This constant context switching is the silent killer of language acquisition. The breakthrough comes when you create sacred space for your learning, both in your environment and in your mind. Silence your phone completely. Close every browser tab except the one you need. Put a "Do Not Disturb" sign on your door if necessary. These aren't just productivity hacks. They're the foundation of a transformative learning experience. Your brain requires this level of focus to build the neural architecture that fluency demands. But here's where most people make another critical mistake. They try to maintain this intense concentration for too long. Your cognitive resources aren't infinite. They deplete over time. The solution isn't pushing through fatigue. It's working with your brain's natural rhythms through strategic study blocks. Instead of scheduling a 2-hour language session, divide your time into 4 30-minute blocks with 10-minute breaks between them. This rhythm aligns perfectly with your brain's natural attention cycle and allows for something magical to happen during those breaks. Consolidation. The science behind the scenes is fascinating. Your brain doesn't stop working when you take a break. Instead, it shifts from acquisition to processing, cementing what you've just learned into long-term memory. Join our community of language learners by subscribing to this channel. I'm dedicated to bringing you the most effective methods to achieve fluency faster than you ever thought possible. This deliberate alternation between focused intensity and strategic rest creates a powerful upward spiral in your learning journey. Each focus block builds upon the last, with the breaks serving not as interruptions, but as essential components of the learning process itself. It's a complete paradigm shift from the more is better mindset that dominates traditional education. What's particularly powerful about this approach is how it transforms language learning from an exhausting marathon into a series of energizing sprints. Your motivation stays higher because you're never pushing to the point of mental fatigue. The impact on retention is profound. Studies show that information acquired during periods of deep focus is remembered up to 5 times longer than information absorbed during distracted study. The real revelation here is that by working with your brain's natural mechanisms rather than against them, you unlock capabilities you never knew you had. Your capacity for language acquisition isn't fixed. It expands dramatically when you provide the right conditions for learning to occur. Let's now explore how quality trumps quantity in language learning and why focusing on the essential elements can accelerate your progress exponentially. If you're committed to applying this focused approach to your language learning, write in the comments, "Focus is my superpower, so I know you're ready to transform your practice sessions." The pursuit of fluency isn't about cramming more study hours into your day. It's about extracting maximum value from the time you already have. This shift in mindset represents one of the most profound transformations you can make on your language learning journey. Most learners make a critical error. They confuse activity with achievement. They spend hours reviewing vocabulary they'll rarely use, while neglecting the core words that make up 80% of everyday conversation. Behind the scenes of effective language acquisition is a laser-like focus on what truly matters. Ask yourself this powerful question before each study session. What's the single most important thing that will push me forward right now? This one decision filter eliminates hours of wasted effort and accelerates your progress exponentially. Think of language learning like sculpting. Michelangelo didn't create David by adding more marble. He removed everything that wasn't David. Similarly, you don't become fluent by adding more and more content to your studies. You achieve mastery by ruthlessly cutting away everything that doesn't serve your specific communication goals. This precision approach creates a direct path to fluency without the detours that exhaust most learners. The revelation here is that you don't need to learn an entire language to speak it well. Research shows that just 1,000 strategically chosen words can help you understand about 80% of everyday conversations. By focusing your energy on these high-impact elements first, you create a foundation that makes all subsequent learning easier and more meaningful. Now let's connect this strategic mindset with perhaps the most powerful technique in Feynman's arsenal, visualization. The conventional approach to vocabulary building is fundamentally flawed. Most people try to memorize words as if they were collecting data points. But your brain isn't designed to store information this way. It's designed to create vivid, multisensory experiences. When learning the Spanish word manzana, don't just connect it to the English word apple that creates a weak, indirect neural pathway. Instead, picture a bright red apple in stunning detail. Imagine its waxy surface reflecting light. Feel the weight of it in your hand. Hear the crisp sound as you take the first bite. Taste its sweet, tart flavor. Smell its fresh aroma. This immersive mental journey creates multiple neural connections to a single word, making it nearly impossible to forget. This approach mirrors how your brain naturally processes and stores information in your native language. You don't think in definitions, you think in images, feelings, sounds, and experiences. By aligning your language learning with this inherent mental architecture, you bypass the translation bottleneck that slows most learners down. The impact of visualization extends beyond vocabulary. Grammar patterns, idiomatic expressions, and even pronunciation all benefit from this sensory-rich approach. Instead of memorizing rules, create mental movies where you see yourself using these elements in real-life situations. This transforms abstract concepts into concrete experiences your brain can easily grasp and recall. Let's explore how combining all these elements creates a language learning system that feels less like study and more like discovery. A system that leverages your brain's natural abilities rather than fighting against them. If you've ever found yourself visualizing words instead of translating them, write in the comments. I see my words to share your experience with this powerful technique. By combining these powerful techniques, learning like a child through direct connections, breaking the translation habit, explaining concepts aloud, maintaining deep focus, using strategic study blocks, prioritizing quality over quantity, and visualizing instead of memorizing, you now have a complete system for language acquisition that works with your brain's natural abilities rather than against them. I've shared these insights because I genuinely believe they can transform your language learning journey. If you found a value in these techniques today, I'd love to have you join our community of language enthusiasts. Hit the subscribe button below so we can continue exploring these powerful learning strategies together. If this approach resonated with you and you're committed to implementing these methods, let me know by commenting, "My language transformation begins today." Your comment helps me understand which topics matter most to you and shapes the content I create. And if you enjoyed this conversation, a simple like lets me know these ideas connected with you. It's not just about numbers, it's about building a community of learners who share these powerful approaches. I've prepared another video that explores how to apply these same principles to create immersive learning environments, even when you can't travel to a country where your target language is spoken. Click right here and let's continue this journey together. I'm excited to see how these methods transform your relationship with language learning, because fluency isn't just about knowing words, it's about connecting with the world in entirely new ways.